So next we have Mustafa Vanhavani that is going to speak to us regarding stock options and how to make a little extra money without actually having the market go up or down. Take it away.
What a great evening. Tom, what was that word that we're supposed to use when people are heading into a bad situation?
Duration neglect.
Duration neglect. So when you were speaking about that, Jan said that would make the case for one-child families.
Very good point.
So I'm glad to hear that money is not the reason why most marriages fall apart, because Zara was warning me that after this talk, it could lead to the dissolution of many marriages. Sales. We all love sales. But the one thing that we don't like to do is buy stocks when they go on sale. When stock prices go down, we tend to sort of shy away from them. And my talk today is not a magic formula for buying stocks or how to pick stocks, but rather a way to use options to basically buy stocks at wholesale prices, so to speak. It's geared towards people who are interested in buying stocks, are going to do it, but this is a way to use it to hedge their sort of bets by using options. So Will Rogers said it best during the height of the Great Depression, that the secret to stock market success is to buy stocks and hold them and sell them if they go up. And if they don't go up, don't buy them. So as simple as that sounds, it took the financial wizards of Wall Street, or actually in this case Chicago, almost 40 years to come up with a way to actually do this. And it's called stock options. Stock options are basically designed to cater to the two impulses that cause us the most grief in investing, which is greed and fear. So simply said, calls are the right to buy the stock at a set period within a specified period of time, and puts are the right to sell the stock. So I just picked Microsoft because it was at a good, it was around round number 30, it's trading around then. So if you think Microsoft is a good buy and you want to buy it at 30, and you think it's going to be more than $30 by June of this year, you could pay somebody $1.20 today for that right. You don't have to buy the stock, but you can just pay somebody. And similarly, if you think Microsoft is going to go down, you could pay somebody $1.20 for the right to sell them your Microsoft stock for $30. So in Optionspeak, Will's advice is basically buy a $30 call. And I'll just leave this because it's a little bit more complicated. But essentially what you end up with is you have the $1.20 loss that you paid someone. But anything above $30, you have the right to then buy the stock. So your upside is unlimited. And you have a cost, which is your options premium. Now, if it was just that easy, then basically we'd all have to just quit our jobs and buy call options, right? But 90% of calls expire. So now when you buy a stock, you just have to be right of one thing. If you buy a stock, you buy it at a certain price and you hope the management does everything right and it goes up and then you're going to sell it and that's your thing. But with options, you have to do a lot of things right to end up making your money. So you have to not only buy the right stock, you have to decide on the right price that it's going to exceed. You have to decide on the time frame that you're going to hit your target. And you have to decide, and you have to get right the amount by which is that $1.20 that you're actually paying somebody. It has to go. So in this case, you're only going to make money if it goes above $31.20. So there's 4 things that you have to get right in order to make it right. Now the beautiful thing about Wall Street is that for anything that if you don't think something's a good idea, you can always do the opposite, right? So if buying options is so difficult, why not sell them? And that's the idea I'm trying to get across. So this is Microsoft, right? This is a stable company. It's core holding for a lot of people. And this is what it's done for the last 10 years. So I kind of just left it at 2010 because essentially from 2010 to 2012, it's done the same thing, which is kind of bounce around this 25.30, 35, 25.30. And now if you had just held the stock, if you had bought it in 2002, you'd be sitting on a $30 stock for the last 10 years. So what can we do about this? Now, how many of you have heard of covered calls? Yeah. So this is a way that people use to sort of generate some income from a stock that's not going anywhere. And what you do is essentially you sell some calls. You have the stock and you sell some calls. So somebody's giving you some money for the right to buy your stock at a price. So in this case, if you're happy to sell your stock at $30, you can get $1.20 every 3 months. Okay? So you buy the stock and sell the call, and this is considered so safe, they do it in your broker is going to allow you to do it in your IRA. Now the flip side of this is there's a thing called puts, which is the obligation to buy the stock. And this is considered so dangerous that you need to get level 3 certification from your broker in order to do it. When you sell the put, you get $1.20, and you're taking the obligation to buy the stock if it goes down below your strike price. And if you noticed, the payoff diagram is exactly the same. So there's no difference between a covered call and selling a put as far as you, the investor, is concerned. So you're taking on the exact same risk. And I think this was a key insight for me when I started learning about options. So there's 3 ways to buy a stock. There's buying retail, there's dollar cost averaging, and there's buying wholesale or hedged with options. And I think most people are quite familiar with the first 2, so I'll sort of just breeze through them. Retail is, if you're interested in buying 200 shares of Microsoft, you take $6,000 and you buy them. And you're fully committed, that's your commitment to Microsoft. And let's say a year from now, you've got 3 possible scenarios. The stock's still at $30, in which case you made, I'm disregarding dividends for the purposes of this. So you didn't make anything. If it's 35, you've made $5, and if it's 25, you've lost $5. So that's a very straightforward scenario. The other thing that people do is you sort of dollar cost average. You're buying these things in small chunks. And again, I just picked this annual thing because this is sort of a long-term investing kind of thing, and you can do it every 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, depending on the options are available for all these different time frames. So you can buy 100 shares of Microsoft today and decide you're going to buy 100 shares a year from now, right? And that's how you're going to get your 200 shares. Again, most people are familiar with this. If Microsoft's at 25, then your average cost is 27.5, and you've lost $2.50 because the stock's at 25 and you bought it at 27.5, and vice versa. If Microsoft's up, then you've raised your average cost. Now the third way I'd like to